Welcome, guys, to Chill Time with Jose. I'm your host here, Jose, the CSGO show with all to know, or most of it, or some of it. I'm not particularly too sure. So CSGO's had a tumultuous few weeks so far, with Flashpoint still going ahead, but moving to the studio instead, and they're going to lock out the audience once again. The studio's in LA though, so I'm not terribly too sure. And also, there's a lot of things that have been moving around. So ESL Pro League is going to be all online. There's going to be no LAN event for the ESL Pro League other than the finals in Denver, and that will be moved to a studio instead. So a lot of impact that this coronavirus is having at the moment on these tournaments, and a lot of other LANs and stuff like that have also been cancelled. And a lot of the countries in question and a lot of the states in question are putting a limit on having more than 500 people at an event, and stuff like that to stop the spread of the disease. One of the doctors did actually say why 500, because people were attacking. I think they were attacking Trump or another Republican over it, and they said it's because the 500 people are a lot easier to track than anyone over 500, like 1,000 or 2,000, stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who are confused about that. But anyways, guys, we'll get to the reports about the other events other than the coronavirus. We can talk about that later because the coronavirus has impacted a lot. It's impacted a few Dota 2 tournaments as the major won't go ahead in the end. It was going to be played online, but decided not to be played online due to the travel ban that Trump introduced for the players coming in, that they probably had to do a self-quarantine if they came in from the EU. So if you guys don't know about that, basically the EU travelers are not allowed to enter the US if they've been to those countries in the last 14 days. So they got self-quarantine outside the US before coming into the US. And it doesn't relate to goods or services, which was mistakenly said by Trump. But anyways, let's get into this. Let's get into the website here. So we're going to talk about the first thing, which is completely shocked everyone. Is basically Fun Plus Phoenix, a Chinese org, basically came into CSGO and purchased Heroic. And I was alerted of this while I was casting a game, and they're like, "Oh, Jose, look at this! You wouldn't believe what happened." I think it was Mirza or was it Noobage? I'm not sure. Like, you won't believe what happened. I'm like, oh, it has Havu announced that that they're still in NA and they're going to participate in Flashpoint, and I'm like, oh no, it's about it's Heroic. You got to check it out. So basically, Fun Plus Phoenix, a Chinese org, purchased Heroic because I thought it was about Havu or another European org since they're in NA at the moment. So basically, Fun Plus purchased Heroic, and this was done by the French org 1PV. And then basically now entering Flashpoint as the 8th partner. So basically, Fun Plus Phoenix, they paid 1.6 mil for this as well, which I'm going to say is a fucking deal for Heroic. Heroic just can't run with that. I don't blame them, to be honest. Heroic probably won out there, and Heroic didn't have a major slot, I believe. I don't think Heroic made it through the minors. So that's a steal for Heroic. And Heroic can just easily pick up another Danish team out of woodworks. It'll be pretty easy. They could even strong arm. I'm going to say they could even strong arm the Copenhagen Flames and purchase their roster, and they would be quite successful at it as well. Like, they could probably buy out the Copenhagen Flames. They could also buy out a few other Danish teams as well. And yeah, Virtus.pro picked up the Vanguard squad with a major slot for 1.5 mil. So Fun Plus Phoenix definitely paid premiums for this one. So they're trying to build around this Heroic team. So Heroic team is mainly about Cadian. And unless this team starts producing results, because at the moment they're just stagnated at the moment, I feel this venture will be short-lived, and these players will find themselves out of org pretty shortly if they do not perform. Now, I haven't heard much about Fun Plus Phoenix. I know they're in the Dota 2 scene, I believe. Oh no, League of Legends scene, okay? And they won the sweeping G2 3-0. But I haven't heard of them that much, in the CSGO scene. So they've purchased the Heroic team. I'm not sure what's going to be happening if they will participate in Europe or not. And, they're still technically a Danish team, just not owned by Heroic anymore. I'm not sure what Heroic are going to do now, if they're going to make a new CSGO team at all. But I suspect they will. I suspect they can pick up any Danish team, and Heroic have a new team, pretty much any day now. Pretty much any day, Heroic will probably buy back in, or any month, because they got 1.6 million to blow. Or, that's what Trick did as well. Tricked. They, sold their Danish team. They sold Hunden & Co. 2 Mad Lions. And now they've got their new Danish lineup as well. And there's a lot of, Danish teams out there that do not have an org yet. So basically, with the Flashpoint thing in mind, basically, Fun Plus Phoenix apparently, according to some rumors, that they didn't pay the 2 mil to front up for Flashpoint. And that they were allowed to leave if they wanted to, if they weren't generating any money from it. Something like that. That's the rumors going around. I'm not sure if they're true or not. They could be absolutely false. But, you know, this is an interesting and new thing that a new org has come into the CSGO arena. And it's actually kind of out of nowhere because, you know, I was expecting when Newbridge was like spamming me, being like, oh, is this for like, you know, for like teams announcing they're not participating in the MDL anymore? But it wasn't. Next one up, we're going to do E&R release their teams. About time. Basically, E&R releases their team. This is no surprise to me. Basically, their team wasn't producing results. They didn't make it into the minor. And, yeah. What can I say? What can I say? They didn't make it into the minor. And, yeah. It was confusing. Also, Zelsis was brought into the team, but not on a contracted basis. And that's why a lot of people were thinking that E United were going to release the team. And to be honest, though, I think E United probably did this to themselves. I don't think the players are to blame. I think E United did this to themselves. They tried to literally recruit to create a team, and they made big mistakes. Like, they broke up the old Rise Nation boys, like Dazzle. Because I think Ace Ace and VSA quit the team, you know, to do other things. And basically after that, they brought in Cooper and then made Relix and Dazzle trial for their spots back, which Relix ended up losing. And then they started bringing in a lot of random players. Like, they purchased up Swole Patrol and released Dazzle and everyone else from Rise Nation other than Moose. And that's where the free fall happened, where they bought out Soul Patrol to get the IM Sydney spot, which they lost quickly here. Yeah, and the E9 guys are playing as Swole Patrol now. That's what I know as. And I just think E9, like, they were doing pretty good at the start when they kept the Dazzle team together. But after that, they were doing what Cloud9 were doing. Literally trying to throw players at it to band-aid the situation. Which is troublesome. Absolutely troublesome. And yeah, so E9 have not made any announcement for future plans for CSGO. I don't suspect they will. I think they will just leave the scene into a long period of time because they're not ready for CSGO, simply put. Like, they break teams apart, then expect them to perform in CSGO. And like, CSGO is not like COD, which E United are very, very good at. It's not like COD where, you know, there's a lot less strategy involved with it. And CSGO is a lot more strategy of, you know, utility placement and stuff like that. And I think E United read that wrong, to be honest. Like, they've got like this looks like just a bunch of people, you know, stuck together. You know, Cooper, Marky, Food, Freakazoid, and Zelsis. It doesn't seem like an actual core of a team. It just seems like, you know, trying to band-aid over the solution effectively. And yeah, so that's what they did. A move that's heavily scrutinized. They qualified for IM Sydney. Probably one of the most snakest moves I've ever seen by an org. But understandably for Marky, Food, and Vanity, they were getting paid versus not getting paid. So I can understand why they signed up for E United. But it's probably a very, very snaky move there by E United to do that. And also drop all their players. They dropped their core purely to get an IM Sydney spot. Which obviously did not work out in the end because they basically got smashed. And then they lost the ESL Pro League spot because they were performing absolutely terribly at the time. And now they're in MDL and they weren't performing well at all. And I'm going to say I think it's mostly the org issues. I don't think it's the team issues. Because the team, like, you know, the players are decent in there. It's just they've never ever let the team settle. And that's what happened to E United here. You have to let the team settle. You either, if you're going to remake a team, you either get a new team and training camp, boot camp them for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Or just don't. Just don't. If you just get a team that's already working together. Because if you try to band-aid solutions over and over again, like for example, Cloud9 did with like bringing sub-rows that being random people in, being 10s, it doesn't work. Your team will fall apart because you don't have any core to build around, basically. Even though they had automatic, but automatic, you know, you need more players to build around it there. And that's what happened to E United as well. E United had the same issue where they were changing players inside and out. Like there's actually no original players from the E United lineup that they recruited in here. There's no Moose, there's no Dazzle, there's no Relix. They're all gone. There's no Ace. It's just like, you know, what do you expect, buddy? What do you expect? And I'm highly critical of E United doing this. So next one's going to be the Minor. The Minor had a bit of drama. This is from Squid as well. Squid told me about this. That there's a team called Camel Riders versus Acris. And what happened was that it was a BO5. It was coming to the last map. And they lost the first half 12-3. And basically the other team said that, you know, that was poor services about ESL, servers about ESL, and that they, they quit in protest. Even though throughout the entire Middle Eastern qualifier, this is what Squid told me, that both teams did this. When they played BO3s, they would switch servers for one map. One map would be that whoever picked the map got their servers for one map, then the other team for the second, and then for the third map, it was, they switch at half time. So one team would have to play on 200 MS, at least for one map and a half, as even as they could, purely because due to the instability in the Middle East, there was not servers available in the, affected places for these players. And they knew this before they signed up. It's been happening since the dawn of the open, the closed, and now, open to closed qualifiers. It's been known that that's what was the thing they signed up for. And Aquas, they forfeited at halftime because they're going to lose that game because they're playing on Camel Riders servers afterwards, so Camel Riders would have the ping advantage. And I'm going to say that it looked really, really childish how they protested and just never came back after losing that half 12-3. Because it's like, well, you've been playing this entire tournament. You knew what you signed up to. Like, if you didn't like it the first time, you should have brought it up at the first time. Not at the grand finals when you guys lose. It just seems like a big, big sore loser thing. So, yeah. So, pretty much, Camel Riders won. So, they're switching from Dubai, server in Dubai, to server elsewhere as well. And as you can see here, basically their tweet saying we started the fourth to last map due to being forced to play with 200 MS. You guys accepted it. Like, this is the thing. You guys accepted that it was a 200 MS server. You've been playing on an entire tournament, and you bring that issue up now in the finals. I know ESL got to do better with the servers, but, the things are out of ESL's hands in this situation here. So, yeah. Have you seen and talked about the new Chaos lineup? No, not really. I think the new Chaos lineup is literally just Ben being subbed out for anyone at this point. Because Ben's been severely underperforming in that Chaos lineup. Severely underperforming. And I'm not surprised to see Ben go, to be honest. So yeah, that's been a drama so far here. So we're going to talk about the next one. It's going to be Flashpoint. So Flashpoint Stage 1 has been all confirmed. So they invited Harvu and the Copenhagen Flames into the 12-man. They couldn't get 10 teams for their partnership. They wanted to play the middle server that was fair for both teams. The thing is that they did not have a middle server. They knew that when it started crazy, that there was no middle server. Like, that's the thing. Like, they were told by ESL there was no middle server for the entire tournament. Like, every other team had to do the same thing, basically. No, they didn't. They asked for it. And ESL said no. Yeah, that's what I mean, because ESL didn't have it. ESL told them that they didn't have it. Like, this is according to Squid. Yeah, what the decided map was, like, this is what Squid said, because Squid was the caster for it, that they would switch maps, they would switch servers at halftime. Yeah, and then what happens at halftime? The other team would have 200 ping, and they would have 5 MS. That's what they did. So for that halftime, they switched the servers basically and kept the scores. That's still not fair though. But ESL didn't have a server out there. They kept asking for it, but they didn't have a server. This is a major qualification. Yeah, but the thing is, it's beyond ESL's control. It is beyond ESL's control. They have no servers that can help both teams. It's still going to be 200 MS. Dude, you know this is the Middle Eastern qualifier, right? Crazy. Like, these servers are probably not in the safest locations. Like, the safest locations in there. It's ESL. FIFA isn't sure for Thailand and EU already. I wouldn't think Thailand would be in the EU because they can't go back to China. We've not having enough servers, but realistically, having a server in some of these countries in the Middle East, other than Dubai, which is at UAE, Qatar, and anything away from the Iraq, Syria, Iran area, like, good luck getting a server in there. Israel probably, Israel can get a server in there. Like, just think about it. Like, how the possibility of ESL it is there. Maybe they should have had a LAN event instead. Face has a server everywhere. I haven't seen Face It, like, say they are much better in ESL in this regards. Even Moscow, Turkey do. No, ESL have servers in there. ESA do have servers in there. Antarctica. But I didn't see Faceit comment on it though, which is interesting. Because Faceit, if they really wanted to, they could. But anyway, Flashpoint, talking about Flashpoint here. So basically, they only got 8 partner teams in the end, and they did the picks as well. Ping should only be an issue for Tyloo. Yeah, I don't think Tyloo has left back to China, because Tyloo were in Europe when the pandemic occurred in Wuhan. So I don't think Tyloo would ever go back to China at this moment till it's all clear, to be honest. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Swinging a DM. Okay, all good. How much better was the Flashpoint qualifier for a league than the major qualifier from ESL? Which qualifier? You mean the global one? The LAN? Yeah, that was really, really good. The open and closed qualifiers were pretty decent as well. Like, decently run. The only issues with the open qualifier was the bracket reset. And that was actually a big fuck up. Like, both qualifiers have had big fuck ups. Like, the Flashpoint, like, short memory, they did have the fuck up the open qualifier. Yeah, exactly. But, like, that's the thing. Like, Tyloo couldn't go back, I would say. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to enter tournaments. Have to enter self-quarantine, basically. Crazy. On the caster side, I'd say the tournaments were similarly run. Like, the other qualifications with ESL were run pretty smoothly. Other than the Middle Eastern qualifier. It's the only qualifier that anyone had any complaints about. Like, pretty much it. Like, from both ends. And, like, I think Flashpoint and ESL both had, like, one issue that stuck out. But I think Flashpoint was slightly worse with resetting the entire bracket and replaying the entire European side. That is literally diabolical. Everyone was complaining about ESL servers, what do you mean? I don't think everyone was complaining about them. The only issue for Flashpoint have been the Faceit issues. That has been an issue for all Pinnacle Cups. I don't recall any teams protested playing it, as far as I know. From my qualifiers for CIS and China. But those two qualifiers were very, very smooth, and there weren't many issues other than the fact that the games went way too long. They went to OT a lot. And I think one of the teams did forfeit as well. It's usually the casters and viewers complaining on ESL servers. Flashpoint, the only big thing Flashpoint did was the open bracket stuff up, and that's it. Flashpoint was very well run in the background, because I know as an insider on how these things are run. Basically, Flashpoint was run very, very well on the inside. The way they handled the open bracket reset was done very, very well as well. They didn't, they basically had that fixed within like 15 to 30 minutes and had the teams ready to go. ESL, they were very, very, very good. Like, very, very good on communicating to me. They, what happened, one of the teams had to switch servers because the they didn't like the server. ESL had the GoTV to me within about 2 to 3 minutes, tops. And yeah. Oh yeah, Ben v Sick. Yeah, Sick standing in for Ben. That's to be expected, to be honest, because Ben seemed to be... He wasn't meshing and playing well with Chaos. But I'm well aware that, Ben was traded in for Sick, basically. And I think it's a good change for Chaos, pretty much. So we're going to talk about the teams here. So we've got Mad Lions, Havu, the Flames, Contact. This one's actually going to be a hard group to predict, really. Because the Flames have beaten Havu before. And, that Group A is going to be pretty much a group of death. Notwithstanding he's signed. Yeah, but at the moment, he was standing in for Flashpoint. But he's probably going to be signed. He will probably be signed already, I reckon. Because Ben hasn't been playing really well at all. And it's just before ESA locks up their roster as well. So if Chaos want to play in playoffs as well, they need to have Sick locked in right away. He's probably in the ESA roster. We can probably check that afterwards. But I know he's signed. Like, I know he's probably, they're probably going to sign him. Because Ben's probably been told his marching orders probably a week ago, I reckon. So talk about Group A. So Mad Lions, Havu, Copenhagen Flames, and Contact, which is basically the X-Crazy roster. This group's going to be a group of death. And I suspect the teams will make it out of this will be probably Mad Lions and the Flames. Like, I think Havu will probably lose in a close one to the Flames. And I think Contact will be the unlucky team who will be bottom. These group names are the unofficial names. What, you mean Group A? Like, they're the official ones. Because they've already done the picks. They've already done the shift overs. So Group B is... Sig is not playing an ESA due to roster lock since it is last week. Or did he not make it into a roster lock? would have got him in already. Sheesh, that's a big whiff by Chaos there. We can take a look at Chaos's roster later, but that's a big whiff. You really need to make these roster changes before last week even occurs, to be honest. So we got Group B is Gen G, Envy, Chaos, and Made in Brazil. And if the previous bracket wasn't stacked, this is also stacked as well. I think Chaos will probably be last. Gen G and Envy probably be between those two for second and third. And Made in Brazil will be number one. Even though Made in Brazil haven't been playing that well, the form's a bit low, they should be able to win that out in the end, I reckon. And it'll probably be Envy or Gen G being second or third. I don't think Chaos, will... They'll be competitive. Like, I'm not going to say they're not going to be competitive. They're the easy beats in the division. I just think they'll lose the 2 matches, to be honest. So Group B is Snakes and Ratters, C is Assisted Living, and Group A... Oh, okay, they have nicknames. Okay, got it. So Group C, it's an interesting one. It's going to be Fun Plus Phoenix, the ex-Heroic roster, Cloud9, Auglis, and Dignitas. Chaos is going to play with MCE. Okay, that's probably a good pickup, actually. That's probably a good pickup. Yeah, that's right. I completely forgot that MCE coaches the team. So he's going to be, MCE, definitely top player back in Saw Gaming days, so he should be fine. So, Chaos should be pretty fine at the moment. I was thinking they were going to be playing with Ben, and I'm going, oh, no. They don't want to be playing with Ben, but MCE is still a good enough pickup. So we got Group C here, Fun Plus Phoenix, Cloud9, August, and Dignitas. Dignitas will probably top the server. Like I'm going to say, top the group. Because they got Halzerg, Dignitas playing very, very well. They're already into the Europe Minor, which is very, very good for a team which will just, nip older nip players and a young Lorp or Halzerg. Second, it's going to be very, very difficult here between... I think Cloud9 is going to be bottom, given that Heroic and DreamHack Leipzig was a much better team than Cloud9. And Cloud9 got disposed of by Renegades. And I think August will even beat Cloud9 as well. I was hoping to see August v MRBR, Kanji v FNS. Oh, God. You're a shit stirrer, aren't you, Lag 15? You're a fucking shit stirrer. Oh, my God. I knew it. I actually would have preferred to see Wardell take on Halzerg and a few others as well. Halzerg won't play during the time... Oh, yeah, that's right. It would be Guardian. That's right. Because Halzerg doesn't have his visa yet, which is a big knock blow to Dignitas, in my opinion. Since they're picking up Guardian, who's not in form whatsoever. Maybe he can show some form here, but it would have been interesting to see Halzerg take on Wardell. Like, there's going to be a lot of AWP duels in here. I think OCE is going to verse Wardell as well, but I think OCE won't win that. I reckon if Sonic goes back on the AWP, it could be pretty even. And then you got, Cadian taking on Wardell as well. And, I think Group C is, mostly the AWPs. If Halzerg can get into the US now, I think it's going to be very unlikely that Halzerg's going to get to the US, given the new travel restrictions. And, yeah, his visa starts on Monday and Tuesday, and all flights are cancelled. Yeah, pretty much. And, yeah, Denmark's in lockdown, that's right. Oh, no, he's Norwegian, but, whatever. How's the situation EU? Still fires and stuff? There's no fires. The fires have been put out for about 1 to 2 weeks now. Because we had a deluge of rain on the East Coast, which basically put all the fires out. So the matchups, by the way, guys, I have been invited to cast Flashpoint for, co-stream it. But at the moment, guys, I'm not sure which games are going to co-stream. Because most of the games, one of the games is, 1 a.m. my time. And the other game's at 4 a.m. my time. It only switches around later on when Daylight Savings goes away, and it becomes midnight and 3 a.m. my time. So I'm not terribly too sure if I'll be casting any BO3s or Flashpoint. But, I'll try to give it a whirl. If there's a time where I can have an early day off, I will try for it. But at the moment, it's probably looking very, very sketchy here for me casting even Flashpoint. Because basically, it's too late for me. And I do have a real life job as well as a financial advisor. And I don't want to be, casting at BO3 starting at midnight or 1 a.m. Most teams will try to shit on C9 because of history. Now, I think C9, Cloud9 do have a poor roster compared to Heroic, or ex-Heroic, August, and Dignitas. And I think Cloud9 will probably finish last in the division. And it'll probably be a battle between... it'd actually be a three-way battle between Dignitas, August, and Fun Plus Phoenix, to be honest. Because those guys do have some quality players on both teams. They could win for a variety of reasons. They all have quality AWPers as well. If Halzerg was there, of course, but Guardian's there, so Dignitas will take a blow there. But, they all have quality players. Thoughts on advancing teams in the minor? What do you mean by that? Have they announced how CISPA approved ranking being announced? I have no idea what this ranking bullshit's going to be, to be honest. I think every fucking tournament's going to have its own ranking. and it's going to be so super fucking annoying and confusing. And like everyone's going to be like, just fucking go back to one ranking, okay? Like I reckon this ranking bullshit from the various organizations is going to go back to one again, because like they're going to find the trouble again with having multiple ranking systems, and it's going to go back to one. And I'm not sure how this stuff's going to work out for both of the orgs, okay? I have no idea. Which teams will make it through? Oh, through here? Or you mean through the EU minors? I'm not going to talk about the minors yet, because the minors are way down the track. They're about 45 days out. Genji got history of Cloud9. Envy got history of the players in the current Cloud9. Yeah, they do actually. I think Envy, yeah, it's just Envy's Moose, Mihu. Nah, I think only Moose would have history with the guys in Cloud9. Have you talked about RNG issues? No, I'm not talking about Renegades issues. That's coming up soon though. But basically here, these will be pretty close matchups here. Anyways, gotta watch out for the chat as well. So there's 2 group phases, which they accumulate points, and we'll see how this tournament goes. This tournament's a new style. They're using the StarCraft 2 style of, having the GSL style, where, teams get to pick who they verse. And this is a system used in StarCraft as well. So next up, we're going to talk about the ESL Pro League. So if you guys don't know, with the coronavirus going around, the ESL Pro League has been moved to be played online, as per its old setup, rather than all being played at LAN at one studio. And now it's going to be played online instead. I'm not sure how all of them are going to be played. Maybe all the teams are in Europe already, as Lag15 suggested, and it'll play online in Europe. And OC and Sonic have played in Envy. Oh yeah, they have actually, but I don't think there'll be much of a history or rivalry. Maybe they want to beat the old teammates, and that's about it. But I don't think there'll be any bad blood between those teams, unless there's of course Nifty, of course, because there's a lot of bad blood between Nifty and a few players. So basically, the coronavirus outbreak is going to be online, and basically the Maltese government, they're going to have it in Malta, and the Maltese government basically shut their borders, just in case you guys are wondering. They basically shut their borders, so they're done. Nifty was quite salty against Sonic. I'm not sure why, probably because he's taking his AWP position, because Sonic's a good AWPer. So Barrier changes, blah blah blah. Basically they'll start it, and this is the second event that's cancelled. Arena event's gone as well. This is gonna be really, really common. Like, it's gonna be really, really common of CS:GO events from now, where a lot of them are gonna be cancelled and played behind closed doors. And it's gonna make streams like mine, for example, when I casting games, much more important for viewers, as well as actual official sports as well, and also even singing careers as well. There's a lot of creators who make music and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll talk about it. I don't want to go on the link now. IM Melbourne, probably no crowd. Yeah, probably be no crowd in IM Melbourne if it still continues. And a lot of people paid their trips already. I haven't paid anything. I only paid the ticket, and that's about it. And I'm actually legit worried if that's not going to go ahead. There's going to be a lot of things that won't go ahead, in my opinion, because of this coronavirus, because it's infectious, like highly infectious, does kill older people. It's a virus that doesn't have any antibodies or vaccine yet, because to get a vaccine you need the antibodies, and if you want to get the antibodies you need to have a young person be able to fight it off, and then you get the vaccine, you transfer it over. Basically, it's kind of that's my simplistic way of saying it. That's what my simplistic way of saying it. But it could be an issue. I'm not saying the panic or battle's going to last for ages and everyone's going to die. I'm just saying it could be an issue going to IM Melbourne if it isn't sorted by then. But I reckon it will be sorted by then. I think governments are taking it a lot seriously now, despite all the fucking rooting and tooting in the media where they say, governments are doing jack shit and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of things happening in the background that the government can't tell the people on what's going to be done to stop most panic here. Most traditional sports, EU and NA and S cancelled. Do you believe people will find their way to esports? Yes. I reckon also sports being played behind closed doors. I reckon a lot of these sports organizations will start talking to Twitch and other streaming sites, and they'll start putting it on here. In my opinion, they'll start putting it on here. And esports will get popular as well, but I think the official sports will make, quick adjustments to go on Twitch. If you guys didn't see, the Phoenix Suns Twitter, they were going to play out their game against the Dallas Mavericks on NBA 2K as a bit of a public event, so they can still, give their fans something, basically. So the Phoenix Suns have made their own Twitch channel, just in case you guys are wondering, okay? And as a bit of a show match, they're going to play, I think the players, I'm not sure, they're going to play Phoenix v the Dallas Mavericks, basically, as the game. So there's a kind of little interesting tidbit if you guys didn't know that. So I've been looking around of what the sports are going to do here. So currently the Wildcats and the Kings are playing in a locked out stadium in Perth, so no one's allowed in, and it's a really really quiet stadium at the moment, obviously. And there's a stream for the NBL as per usual, and that's being more popular than it usually is today, as I see on my right here. But yeah, so ESL, they're not going to have they're not going to have the final in Malta. In fact, it's going to be in Denver, their studio in Denver. I think a lot of these tournaments are going to have this again, where they're going to be going to their studios and playing the finals there, and everything will be streamed, basically. Except from family and friends or the players and the facility staff. Oh, of course. I'm not saying it's completely locked out. It's just locked out from the public in general, other than, friends and family and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's going to be, like, the trend until this is all sorted. And I think as contingency plans, I think, traditional sport will rely on... basically, if it's not suspended, if they're still playing it, they'll rely on maybe streaming services to help them out. Like maybe Twitch, for example. Like Twitch can get some rights to some sports. Amazon did purchase the NFL, which did go pretty well. It most likely won't be in Denver. They'll probably move the studio from Denver to London. They could do that as well. They could always move the studio depending on what they need to adjust to. ESL. They've got studios everywhere. Like even if worst comes to worst, they can even host it in fucking Australia, for God's sake, because Australia even has a studio. Okay. Like, ESL studios everywhere. And wouldn't it be great to have it in Australia, okay? Not putting any improvements here, okay? So we're going to talk about Renegades now. Because Renegades have had an issue, okay? So we're going to bring up this article here. And this headset needs to go. But apparently this ad needs to be in my face. But, apparently something really has gone wrong at Renegades. So if you guys have no idea, 7 staff walked out. Crazy brought it up to me. He was like, oh, what's going to happen to Renegades? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, oh, 7 staff just walked out. And have you ever heard of Adblock? No. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong? And he was worried about, that Renegades would lose their team in CSGO. And I'm like, nah, Renegades management is basically Greyhound. So the Renegade org members handling Greyhound basically aren't part of Renegades. So Renegade CSGO team is separate from the actual Renegades org in the management. So basically what happened is that 7 Renegades employees upwardly walked out the organisation last week. That surprised a lot of studio people. And basically in the interview they were saying that the CEO was the biggest issue, which was Chris Ramea, which I don't know how to pronounce his name. And they allegedly created a hostile work environment for these employees and multiple occasions made late payments or missed payments entirely. Man, can't be esports without missed payments, okay? Can't be esports without missed payments. These allegations were reported in another story as well. Staff confronted him about it. And the CEO used the account, especially Instagram, to engage with attractive women under the pretext of recruiting them to work for the company. When confronted about this, he said he contacted women to grow this Renegade's social media accounts. So the good old that, I'm hitting them up for business reasons. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, maybe. But that's an allegation, okay? That's an allegation, okay? Not an actual thing, but, I've seen some guys do that. It's yet to be proven, okay? We don't know. It's alleged at the moment. So then he said, sex sells. Let's talk about that. Well, it's... The thing is, he's actually not wrong about this, but probably not a good idea when you're an esports organization to basically be talking about it. And, there's a lot of brands out there. Why do we have the Rocket League streamer Chelsea? Because she was some amazing girl. This isn't the first time we reached out to whatever you call them, booby streamers. Would you rather, reach out to some, horrendous person? Okay, so Chelsea did not respond. I could put you under a microscope, but I'm sure I could find a lot of shit. So in other words, not only did he was recruiting women because they're hot and pretty, which I can understand from a BDM point of view, that's what you would do, but this kind of shit, blackmailing employee, yeah, no. Nah. And also, you shouldn't be doing that from the Renegade social account either. That's really, really Monka-esque. He should use his own private account if he's going to do that sort of shit, if he's going to approach and trying to recruit people, But this is the bad part. The unethical part here is the part where he's blackmailing a person when they're bringing up a definite ethical dilemma of what he's doing with the Renegades account. So anyways, the outbursts were common. According to one of the staff, the verbal abuse included insults, screaming tirades, and both in person and over the phone. One person recalls Romero calling them a fucking idiot. Dude. Dude, that reminds me, you know that Nicolas Cage movie where he's a complete bipolar person? And he picks up the phone and he's like, fuck you, fucking and then puts the phone down? Just reminds me of that, okay? Every time I hear screaming tirades, it just reminds me of that part in the Nicolas Cage movie. And of course, it gets worse. Other employees said Remea didn't pay them on several occasions. One employee said they weren't paid for the first 3 months of their employment. Jesus Christ, like seriously. Is Myob that hard to handle, Renegades? Myob really hard to handle? All Nicolas Cage movies. Another said that they didn't receive their salary in February and were only paid a handful of times before February. Jeez, that's really bad. Another alleged that Remea assigned to work that fell outside the purview of the Renegades organizations and then refused to pay them additional compensation. Jeez, where are WorkSafe people when you need them? When pressed about this, he had allegedly told them that it worked for the CEO, not the company. Honestly, the best word I could use for his actions towards me was gaslighting, one staffer said. So in other words, they are working for a manipulative piece of shit as a boss, apparently. Accordingly, allegedly. Okay, allegedly, because it hasn't been proven yet. And, you know, I'm going to be absolutely killed if they go, oh, you said it was this. And, you know, defamation lawsuit comes to my door and I have to take down this video, which I don't want to do. So one source blamed the late payments as partially on the organization's accountant, Xavier Endres, who was hired by Remea in 2016, and still reported at the organization, even though he's meant to be barred from fuck bureaucrats and regulations, okay? Fuck, they're just, you know, obstacles for renegades, okay? You know, screw the guy who's been disqualified from, you know, basically doing things, you know, like illegal things such as fraud. He should stay at the organization. Relegation, you know, bureaucrats know nothing these days. Just in case you guys are wondering, I'm being fucking sarcastic, okay? And he was barred from working on any association under the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority in the US in 2016. FINRA allegedly engaged in undisclosed outside business activity and opened an account with an investment company, Merrill Lynch, in the name of company he owned without disclosing it. In other words, he was trying to lie to Merrill Lynch and trying to probably avoid tax or some shit. So, as the environment worsened, Renegades, one employee from an engagement survey in December that paints a clear workplace of a workplace in turmoil. Its purpose was to pinpoint action points for the CEO. So basically, it's based on the Magna Carta. They told the CEO, hey, this has to change or this shit goes bad. Over further people questioned the survey, said that they would not recommend Renegades as a great esports organizations, or would neither recommend nor recommend against it. Strikingly, 45% of the employers didn't even see themselves in Renegades in a year's time. Yeah, that's a fucking yikes. That's a fucking yikes. When half your staff don't think they'll be working for Renegades in a year, yeah, that's not a vote of any confidence, okay? That means you're not leading, okay? In the survey, one staffer responds to the question, can I in a whole some faith recommend an organization compared to other organizations? With a blunt answer, no, they wrote. There are some good moments in this org, but that's very rare indeed. So basically, .esports did the reach out from Remea for a comment on this article. The company's PR email, however, rejected to another employee who walked out. That employee was unable to provide contact information for the CEO. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That the fucking CEO of Renegades apparently is is very, very desperate for women. Is kind of a control freak and seems to create a toxic environment. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly. Will Renegades win Employee of the Award? Probably not. Man, you gotta have employees to win Employer of the Year. But to be fair though, if you have only one employee that really sticks by you, you can win Employer of the Year because all 100% of your employees are happy. Fucking 10 million IQ, okay? Think about it. Okay? Anyways, let's get on to the MDL. Because we're going to finish up the MDL. MDL's in its last week this week. And a few games to play. I think we're going to start on the EU so far. So the EU has its last few games this weekend. So basically we go through the games that have already been played. Which basically started from March 9th. And look at this. You know, I wasn't kidding. When I said this last week of MDL would be insane, look how many games haven't been played. Remea is a genius. Indeed, he is a genius. By the way, guys, if you guys are coming on here thinking, oh, Jose said this, I'm being sarcastic, okay? Remea is not a genius. He's a dickhead, okay? There's great bosses who make the company work and have you long-term employees stay there for like 5 or 6 years, regardless of what pay they have, because they love the boss. People prefer a good working environment rather than having 7 figures in their fucking salary, okay? Just in case you guys are wondering, okay? So, you know, that's not a good sign for the Renegade CEO. And fortunately, the CSGO team wouldn't be affected that much, given that they have their own manager, which is Greyhound already. So let's talk about here. So this is the biggest match upset I've seen, was Gamer Legion taking down Big in Mount Dew League, which I casted, by the way. And basically, Gamer Legion got to 11-4 start, and Big were just unable to recover as well. Another upset here was AGO versus Luminar. Luminar completely smashed AGO on Train. And there weren't many upsets at all. You know, not many upsets other than AGO being Big as well. But I'm going to say, you know, I'm not too surprised that AGO took down Big, given that Gamer Legion also took down Big as well. But in the fashion that AGO did, it's probably the most surprising. So I'm going to say another surprise that we saw here was Hellraisers making playoffs. Like, Hellraisers had to win all of their games to make playoffs. So they won against Namiga, then they won against Demolition Crew, and they had lost against Prosto, which made their playoff run a bit harder. Why is Big playing in MDL? Since they're not in EPL. They got dropped out. They got kicked out. I was talking to some German fans about this, and they couldn't believe that Big got dropped out. It's because Big's a small org, okay? Unlike their name, Big is a small org. And that's because Big stands for Berlin International Gaming, okay? TCN was horrible against GL and AGL. Yeah, it was pretty bad, actually. TCN was... The B side was getting aggressed so much. So anyway, so basically the Riders, basically Hafu forfeited, and Spirit, they continued their winning ways as well. Game of Legion almost lost that game against Japolino. Game of Legion is probably going to be top 4, by the way, just in case you guys are wondering. They can be even top 1 as well, but I doubt it, because Sprout can lose both games and still be top, because they've got the tie-over. But since Heroic left FBL, Big got their spot. That's why Big are probably coming back to Europe, I suppose. That's interesting. Then yeah, why are Big still playing in the MDL against Riders? It's up to Big to accept that invite or not, so I guess they're going to be forfeited out. Interesting. Let's just keep going with these results, okay? So AGO's been having a pretty good season, actually, since the start when they lost to Unicorns of Love. That was a beautiful start to the season. When you lose to a team that's probably going to get directly relegated out of the MDL, feels good, man. So basically, AGO being here, Nordavind, they took down AGO as well. Probably not a big enough upset given that Nordavind have been playing quite well. And Nordavind took down Pact, and this was like a cruel game to play. So I casted this game as well. And this was a really cruel game that I've ever seen. What Nordavind did to Pact in this game. Could be because the same reason Vitality and Ants issues with ESL previous seasons. Could be. But I was pretty pissed off that Ants got an invite over Havu, by the way, in the EPL. Given that Havu were in the MDL, they're in relegation, and they're probably going to win it as well. They're probably going to win out in it. And then Ents comes in, who's not been in ESEA for 2 seasons. It's like, oof. Nordavind got 2 standards, yet they're really good. No, Native Safix, I think Native Safix has been signed, and Harry is a standard, of course, because Rubinho's hand issues. Which is, not arm issues, not hand issues. But, Rubinho will come back for the finals, at least. So Sprout's been continuing their winning ways as well. I think Sprout have locked up number 1 seed. They do have, Sprout have 2 games left, and they're currently on 2 losses. So even if they lose those 2 games, actually they're on 3 losses. They have to win one of those games. If they win either of these games today, which will be none of them will be casted by me though, because I'll be casting all the Spirit games. If Sprout win either of those games, they'll be number 1 seed, because they've got the tiebreak over Game at Legion. And pretty much there's been a lot of CSGO action going on. Hellraisers won all their games to make the playoffs. So Hellraisers are confirmed playoffs as well. They don't set Harry and some others are standing. No, I think Native Safix, HS, they're players. Croman and Tensky are players as well. There's no stand-ins. The other 3 are players. Like the other 3 were the original parts of Nordavind when they made the MDL. Because HS and Native Safix are the ones they signed because they lost Hallzerk and Rubino is injured. So Harry's back in. Because all the players in the team of Nordavind were with Nordavind when they got through advanced. Can you talk about Polish teams? Do we want to talk about Polish teams? I have no idea why they keep fucking switching players. Like Illumina, I'm going to say Illumina was like a cow, arguably made their teams even worse. And Pact, well, they were showing signs that they were good early, but now they've just plummeted, basically. I don't think they've won a single game. Yeah, they have not won a single game in this last week. And they're going to be potentially relegation targets again. This is what Pact keep doing, is they don't win the games in the final week. And, yeah. It's happening again. It happened last year as well. Last season, where they got shoved down to relegation purely because they won no games in the last 2 weeks. And it's killing them over and over again. They keep doing this, Pact. They get out to an early start. Everyone's like, oh, they're going to win. And then they just plop. And yeah, Illumina and Wiz like a cow. They shuffled their teams midway through a season. And Illumina were 2-0 before they started shuffling their teams. It's just like, what's going on? Why are you breaking the team apart when you've only played 2 games? You're going to get your own team relegated from MDL when they have a decent chance of potentially making finals. and then they hide behind the fact, oh, this is for the long term. You're not if the Illuminar and Wizard Cow get relegated to advance, you might not have an org. Luminar could just like drop the team just like that and pick up another team. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, rest of all standards. Like, I just don't understand what the policy scene is doing at the moment. And also, yeah, exactly. Like, they stomp. I don't want to talk about the teams. But anyways, we talk about this as well. Hellraisers, they won all their games in the last week other against the game against Prostor to make playoffs. And that was a miracle playoff run by Hellraisers. Because Hellraisers were looking at relegation, okay? They were looking at relegation hard. Yeah, like Ozzy, they're AWPA, Friend, but if Friend has played a lot better now. The first game Friend played was pretty diabolical, but since then Friend has really got used to the league. I'm gonna say. Wizard was understand if they did between seasons. Yeah, same with Luminar. Like this is the problem. This is why I'm criticizing him. Was the fact that they didn't do it in between seasons. They did it in the middle of a season where they hadn't played like any games. I mean, if it's the right time, Friend since then. For a Luminar, he's been playing a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that now. He's playing a lot better. Like I'm not gonna shit on him. The first game against Hellraisers, it was diabolical, like absolutely diabolical, because Hellraisers were just eating him for dinner. But now he's a lot better in that team. Yeah, they benched the two best players. Yeah, that's what I don't get. Dude, it's the same here, Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Like when Illuminar did it, did that, I was sitting there going like, why would you bench your best two players in the middle of the season and you're not even sure if you're going to be in relegation or not? You haven't got out of relegation. Like, shit, man. No, you're not backtracking. I haven't talked about the Polar Shuffle yet. We just actually got started in the Polar Shuffle. But I've talked about this a lot on MDL stream as well, where I have no idea why Luminar shuffled their players. And yeah, AGO picked up Oscarish, but I don't know what AGO are doing as well. Like, why are AGO picking up so many players? Are they like do they know players are going to leave? Because maybe Fairyland and Grubby are going to retire or something like that? But I'm going to say with Oscarish was probably the worst player on Luminar, to be honest. But not by much. And I'm just confused by the Polar Shuffle here. Really, really confused. I understand, like, let's take a look at the good shuffle. For example, the Swedish Shuffle, where Nork went to Nip, Draken was picked up by Gamer Legion, and Japalino picked up DJL. That was a good switch. They did it before the season. They did it before the season. They didn't do it in between the season. And they had a boot camp as well. Also, I gotta say as well that Unicorns of Love, look at how well they've done since the boot camp. They looked dead and buried. Well, they're going to be in relegation, but they looked dead and buried, like dead to rights in the first few weeks. It's the only win going over AGO, and the rest of the other games were just absolute belters. They were absolute flogged and absolutely destroyed. So it's good to see the Unicorns, they're really fighting for their spot, Even though they've lost the last few games, that boot camp has done them a bit of good. Because they're a bit more competitive this time around. Like, look at some of the scores here. They've got some top teams. They're not going to win those at all. But, they've been kind of competitive against the other teams. That's what I'm going to say. So, we're going to talk about the last games of the tournament. So, there's going to be 6 on tonight. Yeah, exactly. Unicorn's got a great idea, yeah. They did the boot camp. Like, they basically rescheduled all their games to the last week and did a boot camp. And it worked pretty well, but they're going to be in the relegation block. And we'll have to do some BO freeze in April. Now for these guys here, so Spirit's going to take on Prostor. So if Spirit win this game, they will be top 4. But how far will be depending how they demolish the Demolition Crew here. Illuminati v Sprout, basically if Sprout win one of these games, they'll be top seed. So regardless of if Sprout beat Illuminati Gaming, they'll be top seed. Because they'll be tied with Gamer Legion regardless. And Sprout have the better seed. Sprout have the better tiebreak. So Sprout, on 4 losses with Gamer Legion have the better tiebreak, and they'll go on top of Gamer Legion. Doesn't Unicorn need to win a Singularity into relegation series or not get there? No, Unicorns of Love aren't directly relegated. Unicorns of Love are set. I think there's no direct relegation given that a few teams have quit the league because there's only 17 teams. So the bottom spot to be directly relegated is not there anymore. Just in case you're wondering. I think that's going to be the case where the bottom spot to be directly relegated is not going to be there anymore. So a lot of these teams are going to go into relegation BO3s instead. But Unicorns don't need to, and Unicorns are third last on the tiebreak at the moment between all those teams. So we got Singularity as well. Singularity needs to win this game as well because they're close to the relegation drop as well. Singularity barely out of it. So I won't be surprised if this will be a really, really good game and Singularity probably try and win this, like, desperately. Prostor v Sprout will be a huge game for Prostor more than Sprout because Sprout will probably end the season here, being top seed. Who do you think will move up from EU Advanced? I'm not terribly too sure at the moment. Game Leader rated last season, I think you need 5 wins to get into the relegation series. No, you do not. That rule isn't an issue in MDL. That rule's a part of the what is it? That rule's a part of ESEA Advanced Main and stuff like that. That if you don't get over 5 wins, you're relegated to the lower division. Just in case you're wondering, that's a rule with everything like that. Like, you don't get directly relegated if you have below a certain amount of wins. If you're wondering that. It's if you're bottom spot in the league. Otherwise, a whole bunch of teams would have been directly relegated last season. Because there was like 3 teams with 4 wins last season. And Demise with 2 wins. Any thoughts on EU Advanced? I haven't looked at EU Advanced this season. I reckon Team Endpoint will be one of the teams that come up. You know, Thomas has been playing pretty well. And, you know, I think Thomas and his boys will be guys that come up from Endpoint. And you guys can be like, nah, Endpoint won't come up. I reckon they will. GL Manager told me that past season. I wouldn't think so. Otherwise, a lot of teams would have been relegated last season, like, directly. There were 4 teams, including Gamer Legion, I think, were in that bracket where they were below 5 wins. Otherwise, we would have had X-Virtus Pro relegated. Would have had Demise got relegated in the end. And a few others as well. Thomas is too good for MDL and Advanced. Indeed he is. Way too good. Scary player. And there's Riders v Big being the last game. This will probably have no impact whatsoever. The only impact we'll have is for the Riders finals chances, basically. Gamer Legion and First Pro got 5th wins in the last game of the season. I think it's not that. Like, they don't have those rules. I think the rules are basically if you're second last, you don't get directly relegated. It's if you're last, you get directly relegated. Best A-site player in Vertigo? Dude, he's the best B-site player in Inferno as well. So that's pretty much done for the EU MDL. So we're going to be looking onto the final series for the EMDL, but I'm not sure what they're going to look like yet. It's not as clear cut as the AU MDL or the NA MDL for this stage. There's actually a lot of positions that are still being played for effectively. With Prostor playing 3 games today, and they're one of the teams that we know they could slide up to 3rd or could slide up down to 8th, you never know. And there's also Spirit playing as well, and Sprout playing as well. So you don't know what the playoffs will look like here. Plopsky is the best B-side player. Okay. So now we're going to go to North America and do, like, if you thought, you know, Europe played a lot of fucking games, look at fucking this for North America. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, they played so many fucking games. Like, look at all these games. They, like, played half the fucking season in a day in NA. And they even had to play minors in between these as well. Not minors, close qualies. But look at next week as well. Look at the weekend. They have to finish all their games before March the 15th. And look at that. Like, there's going to be a complete rush to the end here for these NA teams to try and finish the games here. So with the NA teams, I think Bad News Bears will probably win the entire tournament because they've been playing pretty solid. Triumph will probably be, you know, a definitely second up. And jeez. It's just insane. I don't even know how this season's going to end up for any of these teams. Like, seriously, the NA teams. It is just quite chaos. Quite fun for Chaos playing. Yeah, I know. Chaos is going to have an enjoyable time because they're going to have to play Flashpoint. Then next up, go to play MDL. Then go back to Flashpoint, play MDL. Go back to Flashpoint, play MDL. Like, jeez, it's crazy. And it's not uncommon for MDL where there's some spooky and upset results because all the teams know each other quite well. So next up we're going to get to the AU MDL. So AU MDL has only 1 match remaining and basically everything's been like decided. There's nothing else to be decided. Just 3rd and 4th spot. So basically Incept got relegated since they couldn't beat Paradox and Airborne defeated the 419. So basically, basically, Airborne defeated the 419, confirmed a spot into next year's MDL, and basically forced Incept to try and beat Paradox, and basically that's what happened. Now Avant, they kept winning basically, so Avant kept winning the entire way through, and Avant is number 1 seed of the AU playoffs. As far as I can see, the loser faces an easier team in the playoffs. Yeah, it actually might. But I prefer probably Ground Zero for Rooster. Like, the Rooster really proved themselves as a good BO3 team. But yeah, so basically pretty much the winner will verse Ground Zero, the loser will verse Trident. And I'm not sure if the Chiefs will want to verse Trident, because Trident's one of those teams that surprised the Chiefs and did beat them quite hard. Are you going to class Flashpoint at all? I said it depends on the games. It said it depends on the times. Oceanic CS is dying. The day Dexter goes international, Oceanic will stop being relevant. Nah, there's more than Dexter going international. there's a lot of good players in Oceanic that haven't been picked up yet. There's a lot of them in Order. There's a lot of them in Renegades. There's a lot of them in... There's actually going to be a few coming up, I'm going to say, in Rooster. Definitely a lot of good rifles in Rooster as well. And because Netic and Juices are very, very young. Just in case you guys don't know, Netic and Juices are very, very young. And Avant as well. Like, Avant got some decent players. But they're more veteran players, I'm going to say, as well. Like, they're meant to be in their prime at the moment. But, you know, probably the big guys I'd look to is definitely maybe Team Skyfire as well. Because they're producing some decent results. Leaky is a very, very good player. Let's just say you put Leaky with Netics and Juices. And you put Blitz or... You can put Blitz or even Alistair on New York, and then pick any other player. Chelos gets slept on. No, Chelos is slept on because he's inconsistent. He can be always hit and miss. Like Chelos does decide if a Rooster wins a game or not, because Chelos is a very, very big impact player. But Chelos can be inconsistent and fade away, and basically Rooster lose if that happens, you know? Order, Chiefs, and Avant are playing all worse than the Peach teams should. I wouldn't say that about Avant. Avant only lost 1 game to Incept. They beat every other team. Wouldn't say that about Avant at all. You know, I think Avant played pretty well, given their spot in MDL being 16-1. They could have easily been 17-0 if Incept didn't shock them in the first game. So, you know, I'm pretty. You know, I don't think Advance a right thing. Order, I think Order played pretty well this season as well. Chiefs, I would say Chiefs, you know, depending on how this game of Roosters goes, like Chiefs could be like, you know, having a bit of a tumble as well. And that's not good either. Ground Zero's definitely had, you know, not the greatest of seasons given that 6th spot. But, you know, they're still, you know, fighting for it, which is a good thing as well. But yeah, I'd say it'd probably be pretty unfair to Avant, because Avant have played extremely well to get where they are. So I'm going to say Team Skyfire as well is another team to watch out for, because they have some decent rifles in there. I think Leaky, Affinity is another good AWPer as well. And I think some of the Oceanic CSGO scene, like, they shouldn't really be slept on here. That should be Team OCE goes for. Dexter, Sterling, Offnu, Alistair, and Hats. No, I think the Renegades team's fine as it is, to be honest. Like, I think the fine as it is. Siko is actually a pretty decent AWPer. But if they're going to go for an AWPer, you would put Alistair in there. You put Sterling in there, because Sterling's definitely a better AWPer than Siko, I reckon. Offnu as the rifler, I'm not terribly too sure. There's a lot of AE rifles that are pretty decent. Like, I'm going to say Leaky's probably pretty decent for Skyfire as well. And, what happened to Tux and Texter? I have no idea what's happened to them. I think Tux is with, I think either it's Tux or Texter is with Order coaching them. I think it's Tux, actually. And also, I actually forgot about Burn. Burn's a pretty decent player as well. He plays for Ground Zero. Like, they could, you know, Burn could be the rifle as well. Like, Burn can, like, turn entire games around, you know, basically on him alone. Like, there's a lot of good rifles in the Oceanic region. It's just split around on different teams. But Burn is very, very old, so no one's going to sign him up to a thing. Is Order in the minor? Yeah, Order is in the minor. And I think Order will probably have a good time there. Like Valiance as well. We actually forgot Valiance. Valiance is a really good rifler as well. Like, you know, OCE do have a lot of good players, but the biggest thing of Oceanic can be sometimes the professionalism of the players. Like, it can be a really, really big issues. And the bottom teams don't try to work out their team issues. And a lot of the teams, you know, that aren't Orders, Chiefs, Rooster, Skyfire, because Skyfire's mostly stuck together, Ground Zero. Like, the top 8 teams, like, anyone below the top 8 teams have had roster issues. You know, they've had roster issues. Like, basically, none of the top 8 teams have had roster issues at all. Even Team Skyfire, who lost CK to the 419, and CK left the 419. Or they can't use their coach then? Yeah, they can't use their coach, yeah, exactly. But I feel they could probably play without their coach. They've got enough veterans in there. They've got Ricky, who's pretty decent. He's been a lot better in, you know, Order. And I think, you know, Ricky could have been right in some stage about what he said about Complexity. He could have been right, that they weren't the right fit for him, with the personalities clashing and stuff like that. And that's probably what happened. Like, I'm not blaming any specific player or org. I'm just saying there might have been a personality clash in the team, and it would have been better to just separate the players instead. So, that's why I'm saying that Ricky might have been right, and the other side might have been right. But, you know, it's a blameless kind of thing, you know? Why did Elmer Putty leave? I'm not sure. Elmer Putty went to coach a better team. When you get a better opportunity to go elsewhere, why not take it, to be honest? Because Elmer Putty's coaching another team. I'm trying to figure out which team he's coaching. Oh, Bothersome. They won a tournament. I think he's coaching Dignitas? Oh my god, I know the name. Gen G, that's right. Fucking hell. Ugh. Like, I know it's a team that's won a tournament. I've done really, really well. But you just do it. You know, just do it. You know, you get an offer from Gen G. You get an offer to Song, Automatic, Kooster. Why not? Just why not? He left Order a long time before he moved to Gen G. Well, just, you know, just let him move. You know, they probably have their own reasons, man. These coaches. You know, just let them do it. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for... Actually, no, we're going to take a look at a few highlights. He left Order and went to Cloud9. Yeah, I was going to say, like, he didn't... Already an upgrade regardless. Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a look at a few clutches here. Because I want to take a look at these clutches and, you know, take a look at a few highlights of the MDL this season. Actually, no, this week. I got to say, number one highlight will be this one. This is a really, really good highlight to see. From it's between Sprout and Big. And... this is Tabson's 1v5, okay? You guys may have seen this on Reddit, because this was viewed a lot on Reddit. And, yeah, someone didn't credit me, but I don't really care. But this was an amazing, amazing 1v5. Speedy's gonna throw a grenade. I'll mute the thing, but, you know, this is a really good 1v5 here. So, looks like, you know, Oscar is gonna win the round, grabs the AWP. Like, watch this. Like, this is an amazing 1v5. So, basically, it's like, this is the pre before it. So, they have a Krieg. They have an AWP and an M4 here. And, oh my god. Do you guys want my casting on here or not? Because I'm casting this. I muted the sound. Do you guys want me to, you know, show the cast or not? But anyways, let's just put the cast on. Fuck it. Krieg picked up. This is not looking good. Tabson though takes down Oscar. They do have one Krieg. Looking for the guy at Ticket. Speedy will drop. So there's a lot of people raging about Speedy being picked off from Ticket like that. To be fair, that's a really good shot by Tabson there. So talk about Tabson's shot here. Like, Tabson barely sees Speedy. That's a very, very good shot by Tabson here. Like, Speedy's head is just here. And people are, like, raging at Speedy over this. Sound on? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go. One Krieg. Looking for the guy at Ticket, Speedy. Like, they were raging at Speedy for that. I'm going, you know, Tabson just did that extra angle peek and caught his head there. You know, Tabson was aggressive on that angle. He probably got the kill there because Speedy was hiding behind triple. But we'll continue. Tabson, can you do a 1v5 here? We've got two Kriegs here. Good for another Tabson. Good for another. So I gotta say there, like, people blamed Faven as well. Like, there's a lot of people in chat blaming Faven for this. Faven didn't, you know, Faven's spray was probably the most worst thing about that. Because Faven only hit Tabson twice when he tried to trade. And Tabson was just, you know, brutally one-tap. The ace here, Dennis with the M4. Tabson does have the bomb, and Tabson with a 1v5 ace headshot. So that's the worst part here for poor, like, he could have gone for a double peek. Yeah, they could have gone for a double peek. I'm pretty sure Dha and whatever. Speedy was peeking, but tried to back off to do a double peek with the rest of his team, but Tabson went more aggressive. Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of people were saying that Speedy was an idiot. I'm like, I don't think Speedy was expecting, you know, Tabson to move to the left and peek him at Ticket. Like, you know, there's a lot of analysis in this play. I'm going to say here with, you know, the double pick here with Faven, like, they fucked up the time, but Faven did get a dink on Tabson here. So you see here, he's on 42 HP as he takes down Sorry, wrong angle. When he takes down Favored, he's on 42 HP. Okay? You guys can't see it actually. I gotta move my camera 2 seconds. I'll move my camera. He's on 42 HP, okay? Just in case you guys don't see it. He's on 42 HP. And he got tagged up by Favored. And I think Tabson played this a lot better than what people want to give him credit for, okay? Who expect Tabson to move into the open and aim a ticket? Yeah, no shit. That's what I said. I'm like, Tabson was very aggressive. And he was also very good with his spray as well. Like look at the spray onto here. Like, when he gets the 2 kills here. Like, watch this, okay?
Good for another Tabson. Good for
Look at that.
Can get the ace here, Dennis, with the M4.
Very, very efficient. 3 bullets to kill down Faven.
And Tabson with a 1v5 ace headshot.
And, with Dennis, though, Dennis was unfortunately timinged. Like, this is a thing here, because Dennis, let's say, before this, you can see Dennis looking at jungle, and then he looked back at Palace, and, like, basically, Tabson's already got his crosshair on him. He's not going to have a chance in the world to try and stop that aim there.
Set the bomb, and Tabson with a 1v5 ace headshot.
So anyways, here we go. His burst was amazing. Yeah, his burst was really good, Tabson. Like, Tabson, I think he fired 4 bullets, the most that he fired there. And we're going to talk about another epic moment here, which was very, very good by Native Safix here. Like, very amazing by Native Safix. So, you know, we're going to get the health here as well so you guys can see it. But watch this. This is amazing, amazing clutch.
And now they're going to try and undo.
Okay, Michael.
Focusing in from the site, good for 1. And he knows Native Safix is in here somehow. Native Safix good for 1. Native Safix getting the AK out. Drops.
Like, notice that right away. Native Safix drops the AWP, picks up the AK. Look at his health, 100 health. That's why it's good. He's on 100 health. He knows the AWP is pretty shit. He's versing 3 players. Straight away grabs the AK. That's probably one of the moves that helped him with his 1v3 clutch, 1v4 clutch. But it's against Kakao, so it doesn't count. Oh, fuck off. It still counts, okay? It still counts. Still counts. It's a good clutch. Like, it's like, it doesn't count. It's against the Polish team. Doesn't count. But hey, let's continue with this.
The AWP. Takes down 1, takes down Ponchek. Now, he's looking for the AWP part. Spots the AWP at market.
I'm actually surprised that Native Safix did not nail that shot at the AWP and market. So he also made a shot sound, yeah, exactly, with the AK, so they thought he was in the AWP, yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention that he made a shot sound of the AWP, so they thought he was still AWPing.
It actually tags up Zapero. Bomb's been planted, he has to plant it, bomb is planted. Frag and they get thrown in, and Asga PK takes down...
Look at that aggression. Like, look at that aggression, like, holy moly, this is like one of the best peaks that he does here. Like, watch this, the peak on Minio is one of the best peaks I've seen, like, look at that. Minio is not even looking. Minio is looking at Van, and he literally gets blown over. He's just heard bombs being planted. Native wide peeks out. Minio has no time to react there. Like, look at him. It's just head, it's like tilted backwards. No time to react to that bomb plant and that peak. Like, you just can't counter that. That's a, you know, that's a big don't argue. And like, you know, Minio can't do anything. Minio is like, let's see the second before. Minio is looking at Van. Like, he's looking at Van, man. He's looking at Van. He doesn't think Native Safix is planted yet. He's thinking Native Safix is going to back off the Van here. And Native Safix has won this thing, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Doing a 180 peak. Like, that's such a good peak here. And Minio has no fucking clue, man. Like, Minio has no fucking clue what's going to happen to him. This is like, you know that meme? You know, pictures before disaster? This is like, this would be the perfect picture of it. Like, pictures before disaster for Minio here. Like, Minio getting absolutely knocked out. How's Bialy performing? Bialy's performing so-so in the games I've casted for him so far. In this game, he didn't play very well. Generally because Nordavind was literally shitting on everyone. Like, Nordavind, like, you know, basically doing all these RC plays.
And Asga PK takes down Minio, didn't expect it, and wow! A 1v4! Native Safix wins it!
And also, as per usual, Native Safix doesn't grab his own AWP. He grabs Sparrow's AWP. Okay? Grabs Sparrow's AWP after he wins that. He has been bad. They haven't practiced at all. Like, Wizard Kakao overall has been pretty bad. And that's going to be pretty much it for the CSGO section here. You know, that will be the last clip for it. And, you know, I'm actually pretty excited to see how the CSGO is going to all end up here, especially the playoffs as well. I'm actually looking forward to them. I'll be casting the Oceanic playoffs, but I'm not sure which playoffs I'll be casting for the EU playoffs. Might Zapero go near door instead of kitchen window? Not terribly too sure, but I think Native Safix is going to win that duel regardless, given that all Native Safix had to do was just literally breathe on Sparrow, and that's it. I think Sparrow was thinking that Native Safix was going to go towards short after he took down Minio. So holding market towards short would have been a lot better to basically catch Native Safix as he transitions over. That might have been the mindset. Actually, people call Kitchen that little place in apps and not market, being market. So I just understood what you said there. So I'm not, terribly sure what's going to happen in the CSGO playoffs. I'm not sure, like the Australian region, for example, I have no idea who's going to win that. Because all 8 teams have shown signs of why they should win that. Like, all 8 teams. Like, probably the big favourite's definitely Avant. And that's, pretty much it. Avant probably are the bigger favourites. Like, in it. But the other 7 teams in the 8 could potentially win the playoffs. With EU and NA, I was going to see how the last games turn out. And how the BO3 is going to turn out. Then you can probably make your guesses, per se. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the Chill Time with Jose. I'll be going on to the politics section very, very soon. If you guys enjoyed the YouTube video, because this is being put to YouTube as well as on Twitch, you can subscribe below. You can also follow my Twitch channel below as well, and you can follow all my Discords and Twitter and all stuff below as well. So I hope you guys see you guys later. See you guys later.